Aloha. I wanted to pick up where I left off in the last video and expand upon the bridging of energies, bridging of portals, and how we are in a space as the physical reality as a whole is a hypnosis or an illusion to convince us, for the sake of experience, that we are less than connected to what is around us. That's why we have these physical vessel bodies to walk around. And when entities or a destructive intelligence decides to control, since we have chosen the reality to control our movements, like robotic, like in a body, like you can pick up and move around and be seemingly separate from other people, other consciousnesses, other pieces of nature, other parts of this experience, but everybody is still existing within this space. Everybody is breathing the same air. Everybody is drinking the same waters. Everybody is walking around in the same ethers. So this program of separation has just been hijacked and manipulated to amplify the destructive intelligence program, which has gotten to this service to self extreme version of reality that is based upon death, destruction, and control. And maybe that's ingrained within the entire program itself, within the extremes of lightness and darkness. We can see that within our idea of free will and that whole reality. That could be argued with your relation or understandings of higher self and expressions of consciousness in the Most High and spaces outside of time, and pretty much action being a reflection of thought, and thought being a reflection of the ethers, your higher self space, experience a reality in a higher vibration. Just as when you, before, where were you, the you, or what were you before you were born, and where do you go after you so-called die, and what does that mean in the whole experience of time as a whole, and what does time mean in that whole experience of understanding that reality? See, the opposite of those questions, the opposite of those realizations and connections are celebrated as our reality when you look into the materialistic, artificial versions of how we interact with each other, how we procreate, how we think, what we call intellect, what we call knowledge, what we call all of this stuff, all wisdom, everything. Everything is locked into a box of hypnotic illusions and disassociative realities, that where you are like crazy or a conspiracy theorist if you even ponder anything outside of the norm. That mentality itself. The university program is a program that creates what is called the norm, just as the mainstream media is a program which creates the norm of your interactive collective space. That is the collective reality of this control grid illusion. And the amplification of that is the internet into the transhumanism, artificial grid, the blending of or attempting to blend technology with humanity, which is really just ridiculous. I don't really want to go into that. An extension of that would be to completely flip upside down and backwards your relationship to nature as a whole, the earth plane, where you were birthed from. So if you were birthed from your mother, then your mother and father were birthed from the earth itself. So if you don't even have any kind of relationship, spiritual connection, you are a spirit inside a vessel, a body. Your parents, and so on and so forth, all the way back to wherever, were birthed out of some kind of relationship between this earth plane. Obviously, your body is built up of these elements, and that relationship to consciousness itself. Some kind of creative consciousness created this experience that we are in, and it has some of the most jacked up experiences to some of the most beautiful representations of experiencing consciousness as a whole, which we experience as love, compassion, art, music, all this other stuff that exists within the soul, the heart and soul of the authentic soul of who you are, which is my point for this whole video, is really how we are in the separation program is as a whole is designed to destroy your authentic soul, or at least your observation, your awareness of your authentic soul, and install a program of artificiality, a materialistic version of your soul. This is what the university system is based upon. For people who are still believing in the university system, CERN, NASA, the globe model, all that bullshit is designed for you to separate yourself, to lock into the physical reality. That is the intent of it. The internet itself and technology as a whole is designed to distract you and further indoctrinate you into the physical reality. This is why you have all these YouTube stars out there with millions and millions of subscribers, knowing that this shit is being manipulated. I personally have seen view counts on my little funky ass 100, 300 view count videos months and months ago. I've seen those view counts go from 345 to 344. Not just one, many occasions. You can't unview something. You can unsubscribe, but you can't unview something. So people are aware with this, with the filtering through Facebook. People are aware with this with the filtering through Instagram. I've seen on Instagram, and still now I could flip over to Instagram now and see 20 likes on a picture or a video that I put up, and then only have like 4 views on it. And people will say, "Oh, that's because it takes a little while." Come on, please. And not to mention the fact that it's still like that, being weeks after that was initially posted. So if that can happen, if they are filtering and holding back all kinds of stuff like that, which is understandable because they do it with everything. They do it with every single thing that goes counter to the copycat program. The artificial grid is going to be manipulated to not be seen in some kind of way. So if you understand that, then you can also understand that the opposite of that is also true, where you have these artificial versions of expression and interaction and consciousness that are out there, who get amplified, who get pumped up, who get their view counts boosted, who get their subscriber counts boosted. So we are really existing in a space of obvious illusion, calling it freedom, calling it information, calling it wisdom, calling it authenticity. It's not. These YouTube people that are out here are out there to expand the facade of what your authentic person really is, and to create this identity crisis internally that you don't speak about, that is locked into the psychologically, spiritually, and physically locked in to the artificial grid, locked into that idea. An example of that would be people who are following whoever they follow with all these millions of subscribers, tens of millions of subscribers, and all they're doing is like trying chocolate. Like here, here's a box of chocolates from Germany. This chocolate is delicious. Oh, that chocolate is bad. Ha 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 ha. Oh, this is okay. Oh, good video. Oh, you're so great. You're such a really good person. You're really sweet. You're so beautiful. You're so this. You're so that. These people are actual slaves to their subscribers. They are slaves to the idea of themselves. If they were to adjust anything within their interaction in that artificial grid that they have created for themselves, and that in a lot of cases has been amplified to tell another story that they don't even really know about, like a lot of these celebrities don't know that they're being manipulated to enslave the entire human population into this so-called democratic idea of reality. These YouTube people are the next step, the next version of that inauthentic connection to your soul. Like in the last video, I was talking about how the entire design is set up to have you existing in the 0.0001% of your reality and totally acting like the rest of the reality doesn't exist, and that's okay. Why? Because the university system has said so. The university system has said they don't know what dark matter is. They don't know what dark energy is. They don't know what the ethers are. They don't know all this stuff. So it's okay for you to be ignorant too. It's okay for you to not have those questions too. And if anybody else even has any kind of inklings or questionings on what that stuff might be, these individuals will go and defend what that nonsense was pumped out for the indoctrination program in the first place. That is how we fight ourselves. Instead of a true intellect would go into questioning every single part of their reality, every moment of their lives, until they reach that space of total like, okay, well, I'm okay with not knowing, but at least I'm not comfortable with some bullshit that was sent down the tubes from a control grid that has its tentacles down to your very genetic codings. It's everywhere, down into these new age YouTube people and these new age speakers and so-called gurus and everything. The new age itself, not to mention the fact that nothing is new. There's nothing new. That should automatically give you a damn clue. So if you're already calling yourself new age or new age whatever, that's a problem. Something is there. That is a further separation from what is old, what is natural, what is ancient, what is indigenous. That is a program of separation, and it is anchored within this whole alien illusion, the alien disclosure, the alien event, the alien agenda. It's to further give this control grid the idea, the facade of power, just as NASA was saying that they went to the moon in 1969 so they could have all of the 70s, all of the 80s, all of the 90s, and all of the decades today in the 2000s, for people to believe in the illusion that they have the power to do what they said they did. And then they just have to convince you with CGI and all this other BS out there to create a further belief locked into your lack of understanding, so you can subconsciously be okay with being inauthentic. This is what the YouTube people are doing. They're creating spaces for people to be copycats. This is what the Hollywood scene is all about. This is what celebrityism is all about. This is what the music industry is all about. What kind of music would be created if the music industry didn't exist and every single musician had every single resource that they would ever need to expand and share their music in every moment all the time? Like people say, oh, you already have abundance. You have all. Okay, yes, You do. I'm speaking in reference to the way the music industry pumps out vibrations on the millions scale of expansion. If that was not limited by the fiat currency system, if that was not limited by the inauthentic soul system, if individuals were allowed to share every ounce of their imagination, their creative intelligence, their creative abilities, what kind of humanity would that be? It would be a humanity that would be outside of the control grid. You wouldn't be able to control it. And it would be existing further in a harmonic space where we wouldn't have these imbalances of poverty and just no resources all over the world for people and an abundance of resources for other people. 400, 500-pound people on one side of the earth plane and sticks and bones people on the other side. People don't see that as a problem because they're stuck in their own little boxes and don't want to look into the fact that that is connected to everything and everybody. And if you're voting and thinking and even watching all this shit as if it's real, then you are no different than the individuals and claim to be intelligent and knowing of all this so-called conspiracy stuff, then you are no damn different than the individual intelligences that are pumping out it, dropping those drone bombs every day. No different. If you don't challenge yourself, no different at all. And this is what pisses me off so much about the new age and this whole space of this is the future. This is what consciousness is all about. This is what love and light is all about. This is what spirit is all about. And I feel myself getting up into that space right now. So I might say some forewarning, those people with sensitive ears, put your earmuffs on right now, because I might get to a space where I just get on a rampage of throwing F-bombs all over the place. So just for people who have those sensitivities, the New Age program is basically a love and light hospital. It is not designed for you to go into the hospital and stay there for the rest of your life. That is not the design of what love and light is. Because if you're stuck in love and light, then you are void of the programs that exist outside of that and darkness as a whole. You rationalize it and create another separation. Instead of a separation in the fear mentality, in the so-called negative space, or if you're a businessman, or even if you are a politician who's making Secretary of State or defense, whatever, sending drones here and there. That is just a separation on one level of destruction. On one side, that's just overtly separating yourself, whether you know it, whether you're ignorant of it, or you know what you're going on and you're totally in like a devilish space and you just want to kill people. The opposite of that is to go into the love and light space and separate yourself from everybody else. Who gets left out? The rest of the entire population who is taking those hits on a regular basis is getting left out. And that's where the control grid wants people to be, because you are voting for them to have the permission to destroy the authentic soul of the collective human down to the individual. Everything is connected. So this new age version, which is highly linked into the transhumanism program, when you look at Ancient Aliens, and they just blatantly say transhumanism is the future of humanity, merging technology with humans. That is the actual separation program in writing. That's the script of it. That's what this whole reality is based upon. This irreality, this illusion reality. The control grid as a whole. Everything in the industrial age, all the way up through the so-called civil rights, all the way through our first black president, it's been about technology, growth, and the illusion of space and scientism and all that other stuff. That's what that whole add up was. If you really see it from the perspective of the soul, instead of seeing it as the perspective of the human experience on a materialistic version, look at it as a soul. Look at it as your genetic coding, your blood, your soul essence is at the forefront of their focus to separate you from that reality, for you to be locked in to their reality. These are magicians. We're talking about alchemy. They only give you a 10% version of science, which is actually scientism. They don't even show you the actual science that is available, nor that relationship to the spirit, which creates alchemy. But they use that alchemy against you when you realize that the streets in Washington, D.C. and San Francisco and L.A. and all over the world are designed with sacred geometry. When you see these obelisks all over the place, when you hear about these rituals, when you see these things that the mainstream news gives you hints about because they have to let you know, but they don't go any further into it. When you start connecting the dots to why that stuff exists and how it exists, and seeing that that's actually the focus, the intent of these individuals, then it paints a completely different picture of who and what you are and who and what they are, the so-called they, and what's really going on here. So as far as the new age stuff goes, that's like it's like a spiritual Obamacare. It's not for you. Obama doesn't give a shit about you. He don't care about you. They want you to hope your soul into nothingness. Because as long as you keep hoping, they keep profiting parasiting off of your existence. From the most obvious space of taxes and your money to actually taxing your soul. Your soul is being taxed when you are bombarded by materialistic, inauthentic versions of the human experience. We are being taxed and funneled into these ideas of manipulated versions of what we chose to do when we got here, or when we showed up through the vagina portal and immediately got cataloged with a birth certificate, immediately got a license plate tattooed on our ass to be like, oh well, this is your life now. This is your name. This is your religion. This is how you're going to grow. And your parents are the ones who got that system installed in them from your grandparents. Constant bombardment of magic spells on a regular basis. And this new age the so-called new age is the next step of illusion. There's even a whole thing. So like I said, when you go into the Love and Light Hospital, if you stay there, then you will become sick. You will become locked in. You will have to create an idea to keep you comfortable on a regular basis. You will keep yourself separated from the rest of the energies that are balancing out the collective consciousness as a whole. And there's all kinds of ways to do it. All kinds of ways to do it. The New Age is full of ways to rationalize how they are different than everybody else on the planet. The design of that space of going into love and light, because I went through that space, I went through the New Age because I had to know what it was about. The design of that program, that time frame in your soul journey, is to go into that love and light because you have existed in darkness and destruction for your entire life, your entire experience. Once you create that balance and realize that balance in that space, in that hospital, once you heal yourself, you are to take that energy outside of that hospital into the rest of your soul groups that you might have not even met yet, to further heal yourself through the reflections of other people, while simultaneously doing that healing for other people. If you just get into that hospital in that love and light space and stay there, what good is that for the entire collective? Now, I'm not saying everybody has to do that, but the realization of this reality is enough to trigger actions that wouldn't have been there if we didn't think about how this exists on that kind of level. Because people are comfortably ignorant in the most so-called conscious ideas of themselves. There's even a whole thing in Sedona where there's, which is a New Age community, and there's an understanding in that city that Sedona either holds on to you or it kicks you out. That's an actual thing, and people know what I'm talking about when I say that. That's an actual understanding that exists in that so-called New Age community. But people don't put that into an understanding of what that really means. Instead, they take pride in it and say, well, I'm one of the lucky ones. I'm one of the ones that Sedona held on to, and I'm just here to do this and that. And everybody else, they just didn't make it. They were just kicked out. They're just not part of the crew. They're not part of the vibrations, the frequency. That is a storyline that is true on one level. But the storyline, the title of that book, the title of that realization is you are an individual frequency that is ultimately to be a part of that frequency, and when it's time to go, you move on. You take that space into wherever else it is that you're supposed to go. It's a hospital. Yes, some people are supposed to be there to help other people, but that is different than taking pride and boxing yourself in to an idea called the New Age community or the New Age system, which is the norm of that community, which is the norm of that system. It is normal to have no connection with what's going on outside of that world of observation. It is normal to rationalize. It is normal to say this is these people and those are those people. These are the love and light people and those are the people who just haven't gotten out of their shit yet. That's their problem and we can't do anything for. If you were to expand your space and jump out of that prideful ass bullshit reality, then you would be able to help people get out of that space. But no, you look on YouTube and you see these people who are just furthering this love and light spectrum new age program and trying to make it work, but it never works because it's not designed to work like that. That is not the design of the Love and Light Hospital. That is a temporary program that the New Age illusion and the agenda is trying to pawn off as permanent in order to create another version of separation. And the transhumanism community and the control grid is going to capitalize on that space when they start to release all this so-called technology, when they start to pull the strings on the alien agenda, when they start to do whatever it is that is also connected to what the next step is, whether they push some kind of holographic simulation theory, whatever it is that the university system needs to do to expand itself as in charge of you. The ultimate design is to burn your bridges, burn your connections to your natural, authentic soul, your natural, authentic self. The first way they do it is to break apart the family. Break apart the family, catalog you as a number. That's your root chakra. Break apart your nature. Break apart your connection to the soul. Break apart your connection to culture. Break apart your connection to the earth. And they destroy it on a constant basis. And then that's what they say, is your reality. You just have to vote for it. That's what it's all about. So that's how they first rip up your root so you can be floating in nothingness. Then they rip up your sacral space with all the materialistic artificial versions of relationships, with all these marriage programs and Diamond, Valentine's Day. It's all spaced out on time. Your calendar, your Gregorian, Julian calendar is all manipulated to keep you in a vibration spaced out between months and years and days. This is why they have that whole idea of, oh, today's Monday. We just got to get through Monday. Looks like somebody's got the Mondays. This is the Mondayest Tuesday ever. Oh, here is Hump Day. Throwback Thursday. Oh, whatever Friday is. I don't know what the hell Friday is of that. People who are hip to that shit. Thank God it's Friday. Yeah, thank God it's Friday. They even got a damn restaurant for Thank God it's Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday is basically your church. That's how you connect to who you are. And what do you do on Saturday and Sunday? Get fucking drunk. Go out there and dance and listen to music. The actual stuff you're supposed to be doing more of. I mean the music, not all the drinking. The music and the expressions of yourself. The joy, the higher vibrations of your reality. That is a gift that the slave owners have allowed you to do on the weekends. And then you feel guilty, which goes into my next, going down the line, the religious guilt program, which is part of the heart chakra. But the next base of, or part of the relationships and the separation from the sacral chakra, and that bridge between how you understand your roots, that set the foundation for how you will set roots for bringing in your own children through relationships. That's broken down by the patriarchal program and the whole sexism, which is just amplified to racism, and which will amplify further into this whole transgender stuff and how that is a part of the normal grid, which is on the side of the natural grid, which is coming up soon. They're going to pull that string, which is why they already amplified the whole marriage law thing for, LBGT people. That whole reality has been amplified as part of the grid so they can lock that into every other movement, every other type of revolution, which is really just a further locking into the grid of normality and a further separation of your connection to nature. So that separates you from the root and the sacral, and in your solar plexus, the relationship of your willpower to your fire, your essence, your individuality. From the solar plexus of the African people, the solar plexus of the Asian people, the solar plexus of the Americas, the solar plexus of Brazilian people, the solar plexus of the fire, the solar plexus of Peruvian people, the solar plexus of the Polynesian people, the solar plexus of the Mexican people. Like, all of this has a counterpart, an expansion. We just exist on one level of it, one expression. But these energy centers are being shut down systematically by the compartmentalization of how we observe our reality. If we see everything as energy and how we connect to the 99.99999% of our reality that we can't really see, can't really observe because of our physical reality illusion space, then we've convinced ourselves into one version of reality. This is why we separate ourselves from dreams. And that only gets amplified by your parents not talking about dreams, dreams not being part of the so-called education system, separation from your culture, separation from the indigenous people, the ancient teachings, the ancient understandings, criminalization of psychedelic drugs, so-called drugs, criminalization of cannabis, anything that will bridge you to something that exists outside of the control grid will be burned down. This is why the Amazon is being burned down, so they can further destroy the peoples there, so they can further destroy the life force energy, the roots, the sacral connection, and the solar plexus connections of the earth, period. Because it's not just about the individuals. It's about our relationship to nature as a whole. So the sacral is shut down with this materialistic version of our reality. It's amplified by these so-called YouTube people of today who are just getting you locked into this sexual Ken and Barbie version observation of your reality, only talking about this artificial bullshit, just copycatting everybody else. Oh, this person with millions and millions of subscribers tasted chocolate, or this person tried this hair thing. Oh, I should do that too. It's this copycat that creates copycats. And as long as you are copycatting an artificial grid, that's good. That's A-okay for the control grid, because they can systematically program now millions of people through one person. One person with 16 million subscribers, who is actually now the slave to those subscribers, and they are a slave to the program as a whole, because they base their reality, what they think is like cool and what they think is like relevant, and their connections, they base it upon this cute materialistic version of who and what they think they want to be. All this shit. It's the difference between being just alive and actually living a life. It's the zombification mode. The zombie. You copycat. And this happens in the family household. This happens when kids have no foundations. They have no connections to anything, no kind of guidance from their parents, and then their only connection that they can reproduce is to copycat their parents, and then copycat their peers, and then copycat the people they look up to around them, never connecting to their own soul purpose, their soul journey. YouTube and all that other shit is just an extension of that copycat program to create more Walking Dead fucking proud zombies. Proud zombies. So the next base, so the willpower and the artistic expression, that is the soul layer artistic expression, is your solar plexus, which gets shut down because you are enslaved. You are cataloged. Your soul is put a number on, stamped and locked up in a vault with your birth certificate, locked under the fiat currency system, locked under the illusion of the university system, the globe model, locked into your separation, not even being able to question the Mandela effect or what that means, getting caught up in only what that stuff is and never really seeing what's beyond it. Hoping and praying for technology and the transhumanism agenda, hoping and praying for aliens to manifest in your physical reality and be your savior. It's all based upon the physical reality. All separates you from the true expressions of the... Hey, I'm trying to do a video in here, homie. Thank you. The true expressions of the soul get locked into this artificial grid. And those bridges from the root and the sacral to the solar plexus are the lower chakras, the physical reality. And then your spaces that open up to the beyond, which is what the hospital exists here. The New Age hospital I referenced earlier exists once people start to question their physical reality expressions and start to tap into some kind of get a scent of the heart chakra, which is they step outside of the religious program, the religious guilt program, and the God-fearing space, and start to really connect to the Most High, the Great Spirit, in some kind of way, and start to really understand how all these programs exist. And that is a true connection to your spirit. And it creates a foundation for your higher chakras to take root from the heart and expand. And the New Age program is designed to box in that heart chakra in another version of religion called the New Age, in another version of religion called Transhumanism and the alien agenda. So instead of finding your true essence, your true connection to the soul journey and the soul purpose, you vest your energy in the Pleiades. You vest your energy in these star beings and the Galactic Federation of Light and all this other stuff. It's just another way to distract you from your ultimate expression. You as the experiencer, you as the soul expression. So once people get that if they get through the New Age space and start to tap into their heart chakra and reconnect with the people instead of demonizing the people, like I said before, you don't have to do anything, but at least realize it. That's where all this stuff, once you get into that space, you're getting into the spaces that exist outside of the materialistic realm. So to compassionately connect to that space is largely enough, because you start to activate those connections on a regular basis. And you start doing things that you wouldn't have done before if you didn't make that connection before. That's my whole point. It's like, I'm not saying don't do anything, because you will still be doing things, but whatever your doingness is will now be reflected and activated. Even your interactions, when you walk by people, you will carry that vibration and people will pick that up, whether they realize it or not. The physical is secondary. If somebody asked me about like soul family and crossing paths and that whole thing, It's not a mistake when you run into people. It's not a mistake when you have these connections. It's not a mistake when you have relationships. It's not a coincidence. This stuff is, it has to manifest in the spirit, then in the mind, then to the body. Just like action comes from the spirit to the soul, through the mind, you have to think of something, then you actually do it. This happens on your interactive spaces and your relationships, and as long as you keep expanding your consciousness, you will attract those individuals that you have been connected with in previous vibrations that have now matched your current vibration, and it is up to you and the other individual to either choose to be a part of that expansion or choose to be a part of another version of expansion. An example of that would be if two individuals were to meet and they both had work they needed to do in their sacral energy centers, and or one had work to do in their sacral energy centers, the other had work to do in their solar plexus centers, but they both had work to do in the sacral space. Now that individual can choose to be connecting with somebody who is working on the root chakra and the sacral space, or they can choose to be working with an individual who is more anchored in the solar plexus and the sacral space as far as work is concerned. That's just one way of how I observe relationships as a whole. And then once those relationships get formalized and locked into agreement, then you both walk together into experiencing your reality and healing each other. So you become that expression of health and healing and growth and expansion through your actions that is anchored within your agreements. That's what we call relationships and all that stuff. And when you're putting that signal out in every moment, in every thought. So if you're thinking constantly about finding a bad bitch and all that other stuff, which is all what this whole materialistic version is. I'm gonna find me a bad bitch. Or I'm gonna get me, like it used to be an actual thing where people were talking about marrying well. Oh, she married well. Oh, she married well. That's a good family. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Only in the artificial reality does that matter. But that's normal. So anything normal is going to be, in this artificial reality, is going to be a separation from what is natural. So I got off a tangent on that one. I wanted to answer that question while I was there. So the next space is into your throat chakra. And your throat chakra is locked down with, well, most people don't even really get to activate and open up that space to communicate their true soul essence, because we have so much baggage locked into the physical reality and so much other nonsense from our ideas of what the heart chakra is, with this whole love and light new age bullshit that's out there. So the throat chakra gets further locked down even by engaging in your reality outside of even the energetic higher energetic planes with stuff like the mainstream media. It's easy to relate it to that. Like the mainstream media is your throat chakra. They're channeling energy information from some kind of intelligence, a destructive intelligence, for you to process your reality from their perspectives. And it's based upon the materialistic version. This is why everything is about the commercials. Everything is about money. Everything. Family, people in your family only can talk. A lot of people only base their realities off of money. Only base their relationships off of money. Their joy, their happiness, their art, their imagination, their dreams are based on money. That is a magic spell illusion of the highest separation. But that's normal. So beyond that, you go into your third eye space, which has been obviously demonized with having the eye on the dollar bill and the whole Illuminati stuff and the whole conspiracy stuff and the whole occult symbolism and all that stuff. Into that realm gets completely demonized, which automatically shuts off people. Not to mention the fact that you are constantly bombarded with fluoridated water, which calcifies your pineal gland and doesn't even allow you to access those energies to interpret the ongoing flow of information coming through your crown chakra and to send information into the ethers, into the collective, through your experience, your realization. It's like that bridge, fluoridation is like burning that bridge. The new age is burning the heart chakra bridge. The political scene, the military industrial complex, the prison industrial complex, the fear programming is burning your willpower solar plexus grid. The patriarchal program, the sexualization, the materialistic version of your reality is burning the bridge of your sacral chakra. The destroying of the family and culture and your connections to nature is burning your root chakra. And is shutting down those portals and those connections and those healing mechanisms that you could be doing in relationships. It's shutting all of that down on a regular basis with the television, with your peer groups, with the university system, with NASA, with CERN, and so on. Every single angle is lighting a fire to counterbalance your authentic soul expression, down to your genetic coding, down to your blood, down to your spirit family, down to how you walk through your experience in your waking space and in your dream space, which people are completely separated from. Your soul time is being manipulated to not exist anymore because you are locked into artificial time. You are locked into artificial growth. The American dream, the monetary system, politics, all that shit is designed to separate you from your spiritual soul process. And these YouTube designs are out there to confirm that's cool. That's part of your reality. Why? Because these cool, hip, nice, sweet individuals are saying it's okay. And you can just copycat it and be a part of that. Continue on The Walking Dead, the normalized cloning program. Barely walking through your soul journey. In the 0.0001% of your reality is now your reality. And the entire etheric 99.999% 9 all the way through forever is constantly being severed with this ignorant state of consciousness that these scientism people put you through with your 1 degree of understanding in the university system. Be proud of that 1 degree. Liberal arts. What the I can't. I think I'm done. Yeah. Thank you for joining me. And until next time, from all my relations, peace, love, and harmony.